ጎንደር ብለው ቢጠሩኝ አቦ ደስ አለኝ ኮራሁኝ የቋራው አንበሳ የቴዲ ሲሉኝ አይ ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ የእምነት የሃይማኖት የ44 ታቦታት ጎንደር ቢሉኝ ሳመንኩኝ ደስ አለኝ የነገስታት ሀገር የፋሲል ከተማ መዲና ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠቅ ጌታ ሆበል የካሳያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ አንቺን ልበይ ልባልቺ የቋራ ጀግና ቴዲናና ሐሞተ ኩሩ ስመጥሩ እስኪ ልነሳና መቅደላ ልክሰሰው ኃይልክሰሰው ያኔ ሰው አንበሳ ወዴት አደረሰው ሞት አልነበረም ወይ የሚያስፈራው ለሰው ኃይለሰው ኧረ አንበሳው ቴዲ ነፍሳሱን ጎረሰው አይጎረሰው ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ መሪ ብለው ቢጠሩኝ አቦ ደስ አለኝ ኮራሁኝ የቋራው አንበሳ የቴዲ ሲሉኝ አይ ሲሉኝ የእምነት የሃይማኖት የአልባራት ታቦታት ጎንደር የግለኝ ሳመንኩኝ ደስ አለኝ የነገሥታት አገር የፋሲል ከተማ መዲና ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለጠላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለጠላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ጌታ ሆበል ታሳያለ መደንግል የዘለግ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን ሀይልክሰሰው ያኔ ሰው አንበሳ ወዴት አደረሰው ሞት አልነበረም የሚያስፈራው ለሰው ሀይለሰው ኧረ አንበሳው ቴዲ ነርሳሱን ጎረሰው አይጎረሰው ታሪክ አለ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለጠላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለጠላቱ
Nice to meet you, sir. Is this your profession or are you training?
I'm training, sir.
Different sex, clearly younger, and she's beautiful.
My lord, I accept.
You're struggling.
I am struggling. My lord, forgive me for that. Thank you, sir. Let me take a picture of you too, yeah?
Father, bless this meal that we are about to have. Bless all the people gathered around this table. Bless the King of this realm, Charles III. Bless their Imperial Highnesses, Prince Ermias and Princess Sahle. And keep our world, Ethiopia and Great Britain in peace and prosperity. I invite all of you to say the Lord's Prayer in your own languages. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please be seated.
Your Highnesses, my lords and ladies of the British nobility, and the patron and liege of Ethiopia, your excellencies, dear guests. It is a pleasure to greet you here tonight in my capacity as Cavalry, the Chief of Protocol of the Ethiopian Crown. This is a profoundly important gathering and historical one. You will have seen that our dedication to honoring the victory of Gondar extends to many tasks, including the striking of the Victory of Gondar Medal in 2021 with the design assistance of the Palace here in London, to commemorate the joint British-Ethiopian victory in Gondar. It also includes the installation this week at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle of the joint memorial of British and Ethiopian sacrifices to achieve that victory. And it includes the commitment of the President of the Crown Council of Ethiopia, to His Holiness the Abuna of the Ethiopian Tewahedo Orthodox Church, to restoring the Holy Trinity Cathedral built by the Emperor in Addis Ababa to honor the patriots who gave their lives for the victory. All of the unpaid team supporting the Ethiopian Crown are working tirelessly 7 days a week to help Ethiopia in these days, these months, and years of its crisis. And we are making immense progress. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Giovanni Ruffini, who has been working for many decades behind the scenes to support the Crown Council. Professor Ruffini is now Vice President of the Imperial Society of the International Society of the Imperial Ethiopian Orders, which is the principal support executive for the Crown Council. He is now lending our efforts in putting together the Victory of Gondar Dinner tonight and other events organized for the Crown by the Society. So Gregory Copley, the President of the Society, and I are most grateful to Giovanni, as we are to so many of our supporters, particularly Edward Hillary Davis, the Prince's private secretary in the United Kingdom, and to our host here tonight, the Most Honorable Marquis of Britain. Now let me pass you to our Master of Ceremonies tonight, Professor Ruffini.
Thank you, Agatari. Can everybody hear me above them? Your Imperial Highnesses, Your Highnesses, noble lords of the United Kingdom, members of the Balabatawi Net, the Ethiopian nobility, Your Excellencies, and members and veterans of the armed forces, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow guests. Thank you for joining us on this special occasion. Let me single out for particular thanks the Most Honorable Marquis of Reading for hosting us here in this beautiful club, and Lord Ashcroft and everyone named in tonight's program for your generous sponsorship of this event and your work in helping us to commemorate the joint Anglo-Ethiopian victory over fascist forces 82 years ago. Ethiopia is once again undergoing an internal war of frightening and bloody proportions. It is, in terms of casualties and internally displaced persons, the largest war on the planet today, far outstripping the tragedies in Ukraine and the Middle East. And it is in the context of this that we meet tonight to celebrate a great and historical Ethiopian victory, which tells the people of Ethiopia that they can once again overcome the challenges which weigh upon them. When Mussolini's Italy invaded Ethiopia in 1935, Western powers did little, anxious to appease the dictator and to keep him as a potential counterweight to Hitler. When Emperor Haile Selassie was forced to leave Ethiopia, his presence in exile just a few hours from here in Bath was a constant reminder that the League of Nations had turned a blind eye to war crimes of horrible brutality. When Italy joined Germany in the war against the Allies, Great Britain and the British Empire found a new friend in the exiled emperor, and a joint Anglo-Ethiopian alliance was born. That alliance brought the emperor back to Ethiopia in January 1941, and to its capital, Addis Ababa, in May of the same year. In November, the Italian forces made their last stand at Gondar in the Amhara region, and were unable to resist the combined strength of the British 12th African Division and Ethiopian irregulars, the Patriots, or H.I.H. Ethiopia, the first country to fall to fascist aggression, became the first country to be free of it. This was only one of many world historical milestones in the life of the emperor, who had already gained renown in the 1920s as the leader of the only truly free and independent nation in Africa. His coronation inspired Jamaica's Rastafari movement. His 1936 speech to the League of Nations, calling on the world to resist fascism, had seared itself into the world's conscience. His leadership against European colonialism through the 1950s and 1960s helped to give birth to a free Africa. But in 1974, the emperor and the ancient monarchy he represented fell to a Marxist revolution, which plunged Ethiopia into one of the darkest periods in its history. For 17 years, Ethiopia suffered under a military dictatorship of the Derg. After the fall of that dictatorship, many hoped for the restoration of the Ethiopian monarchy. The emperor's son, Crown Prince Asfawosen, had been crowned in exile and taken the name Emperor Ermias Sahle Selassie I. In that capacity, he named our patron, Ermias Sahle Selassie, to serve as president of the Ethiopian Crown Council. Since his uncle's death 26 years ago, Prince Ermias has worked non-stop to preserve the legacy of the Ethiopian monarchy and to create an inspirational and unifying role for it in Ethiopia's future. In that time, he has sponsored full college scholarships for Ethiopian students in the United States, supported the construction of bridges and wells and other clean water projects in Ethiopia itself, organized a digitization project to preserve unique Ethiopian manuscripts, and spent countless hours educating people like us all around the world about Ethiopia's unique place in world history. Just 2 days ago, Prince Ermias was welcomed at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, where he dedicated a memorial plaque, which you can see in your program tonight, dedicated to the memory of those who fought and died to free Ethiopia, creating the first Allied victory of World War II. Ladies and gentlemen of the Ethiopian, British, and Commonwealth Armed Services here tonight, we honor the sacrifices your predecessors made to build a better world through that victory, and the ones that followed, and we thank you for your continued service. In Ethiopia, to give thanks for the nation's deliverance from war and occupation, the Emperor commissioned the construction of the magnificent Holy Trinity Cathedral in Addis Ababa to honor the sacrifice of the H.I.H and the Ethiopian victims of the occupation. The Emperor himself now, finally, also rests there. A year ago, officials from the Holy Trinity approached Prince Ermias and asked him for help. The cathedral is undergoing renovations which are badly needed but not fully funded. Tonight, we are pleased to announce that the International Society's efforts on behalf of the Crown Council have raised over $54,000 towards our total goal of $100,000 to support the Trinity Cathedral renovation campaign. This too is part of the victory of Gondar. We hope to raise the rest of that amount by the end of this year. In 2024, the Crown Council will turn its attention from cultural preservation to education. Prince Ermias earlier this year received a petition from the city council and local elders of a small town called Ejersa Goro. the birthplace of Emperor Haile Selassie. The town has asked Prince Ermias to help fundraise to support the reconstruction of the town's primary school built by the emperor so many years ago. We look forward to working with all of you to find supporters for this initiative when we launch next year. These two fundraisers, one for a major site in Ethiopia's capital, the other for a small building in a small town hundreds of miles from that capital, have something crucial in common. Prince Ermias did not go to them and offer his services. They came to him and asked. This is proof that nearly 50 years after the revolution, Ethiopia's people know that its crown is still there, that its crown still serves. This should be a reminder to all of us here today that the future of the Ethiopian monarchy is not just here, in rooms like this, at commemorative dinners like this, but there, on the ground, in Ethiopia, in the future. Similarly, those members of the Ethiopian Balabatawi net, the aristocracy, have been asked to work with Ethiopian Orthodox churches around the nation to help them preserve these facilities and services. With all this in mind, I would like to thank you, all of you, for joining us tonight, and to thank you, Prince Ermias, for all of your work in the past and yet to come. Thank you. Now, if all of you would please rise for the playing of the national anthem. Please be seated and enjoy your salad.
more importantly, I would like to congratulate myself first because this is my first Gondar Dinner. I was particularly touched by the amount of hard work that's gone into having put the script together. And we've had a very busy week, a very emotional one. And I'd like to remember my friend Greg Coughlin, who's not with us this evening, who worked so hard to make this possible, but we're compensated because Pamela is here with us. So I'll get into my formal speech. Dear friends, let me call you that, because nothing differentiates us this evening. And I thank the Almighty Lord because of that. We are here because of the bond and our love for freedom. We love Ethiopia and crave its freedom. We love the Britain and her Commonwealth, which has helped the great emperor, my late grandfather, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, to achieve the freedom and salvation of Ethiopia. This was an achievement not only for Ethiopia, but for the world. We celebrate the 82nd anniversary of that painful relief and victory at Gondar, where we saw the first territory seized by the Axis powers of World War II, freed from the brutal occupation of nationalism and fascism. We also cannot forget that the invasion of Ethiopia in 1935 was the true start of World War II. And we Ethiopians suffered, apparently without friends or support, until the relief began in 1939 and the final victory achieved 2 years later. The years of abandonment by the world scarred my late grandfather and the Ethiopian people. The victory at Gondar, even though the world had forgotten it, 2 weeks afterwards, Japan was attacked at Pearl Harbor, bringing the United States into the war. Well, the victory of Gondar began our healing, and they accelerated the path by the emperor toward making Ethiopia a true confederation of lands and people under a democratic parliamentary constitutional monarchy similar to the pattern here in the United Kingdom. Our path to that goal was interrupted even as the emperor drafted a new constitution in 1973 to implement the final steps, and he was to be overthrown and murdered by the Derg military junta in 1975. They killed or imprisoned so many of our family and the families of so many Ethiopians, and we mourned them as we mourn the loss of many of our patriots who gave us the Gondar victory and fought for freedom all along. And those from Britain, Kenya, Australia, and elsewhere who lie in the graves, so many unmarked graves in Ethiopia, have become their eternal rest. But where are we as Ethiopians today? I say that in all the chaos of the continuing conflict, which is the legacy of the dreadful communists and its successor governments, we are in fact closer to the returning of the emperor's dream of democracy and the unity of Ethiopian spirit that we have been almost seeking for decades before.
And hopefully the monarchy.
Why is this 82nd anniversary of Gondar so important? This week, through the graciousness of His Majesty King Charles III, for whom we call God's blessing on his new reign, we were able to unveil the new memorial plaque at Windsor Chapel, at St. George's Chapel in Windsor, to the memory of all those who made the Gondar victory possible. This was a major milestone, not only in modern Anglo-Ethiopian friendship, but also in recognizing the strategic importance of Ethiopia to the security of the great global trade links of the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, and in recognizing the bonds between the Ethiopian and British crowns, which eventually become bonds between eternally linked brothers. I was blessed too, this week, to visit my grandfather's home in exile at Fairfield House in Bath, and again to reflect on the anguish as he sought the path home to relieve Ethiopia of its invaders. And then today, I was privileged to be granted the freedom of the City of London, which was an emotional journey replicating the path of my grandfather. All of these things. All of these things are small marks on the pages of history, but they mark the slow rebuilding of the dignity, warmth, nobility of our nations, Britain and Ethiopia, and our recognition of the importance of the Commonwealth of Nations, to which we also owe our brotherhood. It is not from nostalgia that I speak this evening. It is from the reality that today, more than ever since World War II, Britain and Ethiopia seek to restore the nobility of purpose to our nations. And in this is the most essential ingredient to restoring the dignity of the purpose and magnanimity of the souls of our mutual people. For us, it is critical because Ethiopia, as I said, remains embroiled in the war today. The chaos which began with the killing of my late grandfather and now forwards the destruction of the dreams of the Ethiopian people is now approaching a climax. The largest war in the world today, in terms of casualties and displaced people, is not in Ukraine or the Levant. As tragically important and barbaric all those wars are, it is in Ethiopia, unfortunately, where possibly as many as 1.5 million people have been killed in the past year alone, and 26 more million have become displaced from their homes. We join the world in mourning the loss of life and the meaning of life in Ukraine and in Israel, because we know what the meaning of suffering is. The Ethiopian people are now fighting for their lives, their freedoms, their very identity, and the crown of Ethiopia, in the midst of all this, is attempting to give support to its people and support to our faith in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. These tragedies have gone unreported in Western media, largely because all these suppressions are not on the internet, they're not on the news, but I want you to know that it is happening, and we must become cognizant of them. In a moment, I'm going to ask my kinsman and my cousin, H.I.H, to give you a brief report of the situation inside Ethiopia, from which he came just 2 days ago. In the meantime, let me again thank you all for being with us this evening. It is a blessing of immeasurable comfort to me and to Princess Saba. And let me thank you, my friends and colleagues, who have made this dinner possible, for all the hard work you have put in. It is one of the few opportunities for us to gain attention to our cause and to raise some funds for the operation of the prom. Let me now, ending with my profound thanks to you all, honor the Jasper to make a few comments.
Your Excellency, thank you for having us here tonight. We are here for the historical dinner event for the Gondar Dinner between Great Britain and Ethiopia. But as we all know, what we have passed through in the past, the York nation, because His Majesty believed in a peaceful solution. And then now we have the United Nations. All this stuff has not worked. As a human being, we have not been able to keep our words, our oath to our own people. I live in Addis, in Ethiopia. I went back because we have to do something for our people. But again, we're facing war, a war nobody cares about. November 7th, we saw Hamas attack and the war in Israel. That got a big attention, and the whole world were very sorry for what happened. We lost 2 million people in the past 2 years. Nobody cared about it. We have 24 million people by next year who will be shorted, not by drought. So, again, we are in need of your help by any means, and we are here standing. I'm standing in front of you here, and the Crown Council is doing what it can, because we want a national dialogue to come to Ethiopia to make peace. We don't believe in war, but I believe we can come to our senses to sit on a table like this and to come up with a peaceful solution. So this is our dream, but we have to make it happen. We don't have time. We don't have time to talk to the European Union or the United States Congress. We're in short of time. We have to make it happen because people are dying.
Thank you, John Coffin. May I ask all of you to rise for 3 toasts? I give you the Emperor Haile Selassie and the Arbanyoch for the deliverance of Ethiopia from occupation and for the victory of the Ethiopian people. I give you the King Emperor George VI and the people of the Commonwealth for the deliverance of Ethiopia from occupation. And I give you the Crown Council of Ethiopia and its President in the work for the deliverance of Ethiopia from its present distress. Dear guests, thank you once again. Please continue to enjoy your dessert, your coffee, your tea. This concludes the formal part of the evening. We thank you most warmly for your participation tonight. Please continue your support for the great work for this revival of Ethiopia.
Yeah, and likewise. So I'll link up with
I'm told I've forgotten something, and there is one more item, of course, I must introduce tonight. Leo Millimork, Vijaswa's daughter, who had one final word she wanted to say to all of us tonight. Thank you.
Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. As you may all know, I come from a country known as the Land of Origins. A country with a 3,000-year-old monarchy that stood by peace, equality, loyalty, and friendship. Our last beloved emperor, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie, was the embodiment of these words, especially the word friendship. One of our longest standing friendships, if not the longest, is with your beloved Great Britain, which started back in 1841. This friendship flourished even further under His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. It is due to these high moral stances that Ethiopia committed herself to the prosperity of not just her people, but the entire African continent. It's due to His Imperial Majesty's strong morals that he decided to extend Ethiopia's arm not only to Africa, but to the rest of the world, by becoming a charter member of the League of Nations in 1920, with hopes to make the world a better place. But sadly, that hope faded, just as we needed the world turned their backs on us. We returned in 1935 when the Italians invaded once more. But during our darkest hours, our beloved friends, Great Britain, came to our aid and partnered with Ethiopian patriots, which led to our joint victory, making Britain's first World War II win in 1941. The time has also come again for our dear friends to extend their arms. My father already said everything that was going on back home. 2 million people have already passed, and we need our friends' help once more. This dinner is a testimony of our long and beautiful friendship, which only remains strong due to my beloved uncle, His Imperial Highness, Prince Ermias Sahle Selassie. The only Ethiopian monarch who has given himself to his country and dedicated his life to keep our country's name alive on an international level. It is because of him our family name remains alive. He is now the embodiment of peace, equality, loyalty, friendship, just like his grandfather. But also, he is the embodiment of love. It's his love that is able to bring all these faces together and turn them into one family. So I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all that you have done for us and Ethiopia. You are a gift and a blessing to all of us. God bless you.
Beautiful.
Concerning assessment to check if you want.
በጣም ለሰጠሽ ጊዜ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። ራስሽን አስተዋውቀሽ ዛሬ የራት ግብዣው ምንን አስመልክቶ እንደሆነ ብትነግሪን ለተመልካቾቻችን።
ደስ ይላል። ልቅ ለማሽ ካባባላና ዛሬ የጎንደር ድል ነው። ይሄ የኢትዮጵያን የዓለም የሁለተኛ ዓለም ጦርነት ከእንግሊዝ ጋር አብረን ሰላምናውን እና ያሸነፍነውን አብረን ሰለብሬት ለማድረግ
እንግዲህ አንቺ ከአፄ ኃይለ ሥላሴ ዘር ነሽ። ስለዚህ ትንሽ አብራሪልኝ። የማን ልጅ ነሽ መሰለኝ?
እኛ የንጉሥ ኃይለ ሥላሴ
ኦኬ።
በሳቸው ነው የኢትዮጵያ ሞናርኪ ወደ ኢትዮጵያ ዘውድ እኛ የራስ ዳግማዊ
በጣም ደስ የሚል ኪኖት ስፒች በግብዣ የአንቺ አባት ተናግረው ነበርና ምን ነበር የተናገሩት? በአማርኛ ነው ሌሎቹን እንዲገባቸው።
አገራችን ውስጥ እንደምታውቁት ሰው እየሞተ ነው። አሁን የእስራኤል የፍልስጤም የዩክሬን ጦርነት ሁሌም ይወራል በኢንተርናሽናል ደረጃ። እኛ ሀገር ውስጥ አማራ ክልል አፋር የሆነውን የደረሰውን ህዝብ እኛው የኢትዮጵያን ህዝብ መሀላችን ጦርነት አለ፣ እርስ በራሳችን እንጣላለን። ግን የምንረሳው እስካሁን ድረስ 2 ሚሊዮን ህዝብ አልፏል እና እንግሊዝን ጓደኞቻችን ነን ፓርትነርስ ነን ለሚሉት ለማስታወስ ነው። አብረን ይህን ሁሉ ዓመታት ሁለተኛ ዓለም ጦርነት እነሱ ውን እንዳሸነፉ ሁለተኛ ዓለም ጦርነት በኢትዮጵያ ምክንያት ነው የሚወደድ። ስለዚህም አሁን ጓደኝነታችን አስታውሱና ኢትዮጵያን ወደ ሰላም ሀገራችን አለ ወደ ሰላም ተመልሰን ወደ ሀገራችን አለ።
በጣም ትልቅ ነገር ነው። እንግዲህ አንቺም እድል ተሰጥቶሽ ተናግረሻል። የተናገርሽውም በፈረንጅኛ ነው፣ በእንግሊዘኛ ነው። በጣም ቆንጆ ነው። ግን ምን ነበር ያልሽው?
እኔም ደግሞ የተናገርኩት እያስታወስኳቸው ነበረ የኢትዮጵያና የእንግሊዝ አብረን እንደሰራን እስካሁን ድረስ እንዴት እንደተረዳዳን። ምክንያቱም እነሱ ሁለተኛ ዓለም ጦርነትን አሸነፍን ያሉት በ1941 በፈረንጅ አቆጣጠር ከኢትዮጵያ ጋር ከአርበኞቻችን ጋር አንድ ሆነው ስለሰሩ እና እኛ ማስታወስ አለብን። ይህንንም ማሸነፍ የቻላችሁ በእኛም ምክንያት ነው። የእኛ እርዳታ ምክንያቱም መጨረሻ ላይ የሚመጡት እና በኢትዮጵያ ሕዝብ ምክንያት ነው ጦርነት የተሸነፈው ስሜታለው። ግን ለማስታወስ ነው። ለመጨረሻም ላይ አጎቴን ኤርሚያስ ሳህለ ሥላሴንም አመሰግናለሁ። ምክንያቱም እንደምታውቁት እስካሁን የኢትዮጵያ ዘውድ ልጆች ተረስተዋል እና በሱ ምክንያት ነው እስካሁን ድረስ ስማችን የሚሰማው እና ለእሱም ትልቅ ምስጋና ያቀረቡት በዚህ ምክንያት።
በጣም አመሰግናለሁ። ሌሎቹ ደግሞ in the last few days እንግዲህ በአማርኛ ያለፉት 2-3 ቀኖች ብዙ ነገሮች ተደርገዋል። ሄደሽ ነበር? አሁን ለምሳሌ ፌርፊልድ ሃውስን አይተሽዋል?
ምክንያቱም እኛም የደረስነው አንድ ቀን በፊት ነበረ። ስለዛም ሱዳን
ከዛ በኋላ ደግሞ የልዑል አለማየሁ አስክሬን ያለበት ዊንዞር ካስል ሄደሽ ነበር? እዛ
ዛሬ ኤርሚያስ ሲባል
እንግዲህ ቅድም በንግግራቸው ላይ ሰምተሻል እና ምንድነው እስኪ ለተመልካቾቻችን ብትነግሪኝ?
ትልቅ ስጦታ ነው። ምክንያቱም እንግዲህ ብዙ ጊዜ ለራሳቸው ህዝብ ነው አንዳንድ ለአሜሪካኖች ተሰጥቷል። ግን ይሄ ማለት የኢትዮጵያን ዘውድ ቤተሰብ አስታውሰው የልዑል ኤርሚያስን ስራ በጠቅላላው እስካሁን ድረስ ስራውን አይተው ትልቅ አዋርድ ነው በነሱ እና ፍሪሜሰን ማለት ምንድን ነው? እዚህ እንግሊዝ ውስጥ ምንም ነገር ቢያደርግ አይታሰብም።
ትልቅ ነገር ነው። ኦኬ፣ አሁን ኮንክሉድ እናደርጋለን። መቼስ በጣም አመሰግናለሁ ለሰጠሽን ጊዜ። እንግዲህ በእንግሊዘኛም ኮንክሉድ ለማድረግ ፈልጋለሁ አብረን እንግዲህ እዚህም ያሉት እንግሊዞች ናቸው ልጆቻችን እና ግን ይሄ የመጀመሪያሽ ነው እንግዲህ እንደሚገባኝ አይደል? እዚህ እንዲህ አይነት ዝግጅት ላይ ዛሬ የጎንደር ዲነር ላይ is it your first time?
የጎንደር የመጀመሪያ ነው። ከዚህ በፊት ሌላ
እስኪ ንገሪኝ። ስለሱ አታከሽ ገባሽ? ታሪካችንን ወደ ላይ የሚያስቧቸው ብዙዎች አሉ። አሜሪካኖችን አይቻለሁ፣ እንግሊዞች አሉ፣ ሌሎችንም እንግዲህ ተሳትፈሻልና ምንድነው ያንቺ አስተያየት በዚህ ሁኔታ ላይና ኢትዮጵያውያንም ታሪካቸውን እየጣሉ በሌላ መናቆር ላይ 2 ሚሊዮን ደርሰናል፣ ከዛም ሊበልጥ ይችላሉ ስንጣላ ይሄንን የሚያስታርቀውን ያንቺና ከታች ያሉትን ጄኔሬሽኖች መልእክት ካለሽ እስኪ?
መልእክት ምንድነው? እዚሁ ኢትዮጵያኖች አሁን ፈረንጆች ታሪካችንን እኛ ማንነታችን ማስታወስ ማለት ነው። እናንተ ማስታወስ ያለባችሁ ምንድን ነው? የኢትዮጵያ ዘውዶች ብቻ ሳይሆን የኢትዮጵያ አያት ቅድማያቱ ቅባያቱ ደምና እንባ ያለበት። ስለዛም እኛም ሀገራችን እንደማለት
Thank you very much. I would appreciate if you say a few words in English, especially for the young generation who have had no idea what went in the late 30s and early 40s. I know before World War II, Ethiopia was invaded. As soon as we were emancipated, the Second World War started, isn't it? So in regards to that, please say a few words for those Ethiopians who unfortunately haven't had the chance to take part in such glorious dinner evening. What would you pass on to the generation you represent and the general generation who are younger than you are?
So Ethiopia has always made an impact, not just for our country and for continents, but for the rest of the world. Starting from aiding England gain a win in 1941 in order to declare a win for World War II. And that was just the beginning. But afterwards, Ethiopia was also helping Korea, and this was also an impact Ethiopia has made on an international level. But this dinner is to remind everyone that Ethiopia has always been partnering with any countries on an international level to help and extend our arms. But right now, when we need aid the most, everyone has turned their backs on us. It's international countries like Israel and Ukraine that are being recognized instead of our own. And that's what we have to remind them, because Ethiopia has always been there for everyone, yet no one has been there for us. The younger generation has to understand and has to remember we come from greatness. It's all of our ancestors that did something for Ethiopia to stand here today. And if you continue as we are and forget our history, you're essentially forgetting who your ancestors are and where you're actually from. And when you don't know that, you lose your identity. So it's okay, to remind yourselves that you come from greatness and understand our history. That's the only way you're able to make an impact, not just for yourself, but for your country.
Thank you very much. I mean, you're a blue blood. You're a royal. What exactly are you doing in Ethiopia as a profession?
So as of right now, I'm working with my father, who's an industrial engineer, but I'm also a shareholder and a partnership manager at a food tech company. But my greatest accomplishments, I believe, are the philanthropic work that I do. I sponsor about 40 kids in Dagabran, and they're mostly theater kids, so I established them as a company, so I make sure that they provide them with their community. But I'm also a member and a part of an orphanage called Udaya, where I sponsor some kids and work with them on an extensive level. But other than that, in At-Aidi, I'm also building 10 homes. So I'm doing as much as I can from my capacity, because we all have the ability to do so. So as much as I do my work, I work with my family, I have my own job, I have to give back to my community, because that's what Ethiopians do. That's what we do. We're a community-based culture. We're supposed to be helping one another. We're supposed to be growing as one, not just as individuals.
I appreciate your time. Thank you. But if you have anything else to add on, which we haven't mentioned, you're very welcome to add on.
All I have to say to my generation, the next generation, is remember you come from greatness and remember who you are. We only have one country by the end of the day. And just because we have the privilege to get an education abroad, to come here and actually experience everything, bring your experiences back home. Teach your people how to be better and actually grow. There's so much to do and so much to change, and extend this privilege that your family was able to get to. Because the kids back home really need you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And then we're on strike.
የነገስታት ሀገር የፋሲል ከተማ መዲና ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ ነይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ ነይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠጌታ ሆበል የከሳያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ አንቺን ልበይ ልልባልቺ የቋራ ጀግና ቴዲናና ቴዲናና ሐሞተ ኩሩ ስመጥሩ ስመጥሩ እስኪ ልነሳና መቅደላ ልክሰሰው ኃይልክሰሰው ያኔ ሰው አንበሳ ወዴት አደረሰው አደረሰው ሞት አልነበረም ወይ የሚያስፈራው ለሰው ኃይለሰው ኧረ አንበሳው ቴዲ እርሳሱን ጎረሰው አይጎረሰው ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ ነይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለተላቱ ነይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠጌታ ሆበል የካሳያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ሆበል አንቺ ጎንደሬ እንዳገርሽ እንዳገሬ አኮ በለ ጎንደሬ ብለው ቢጠሩኝ አቦ ደስ አለኝ ኮራሁኝ የቋራው አንበሳ የቴዲ ሲሉኝ አይ ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ የእምነት የሃይማኖት የ44 ታቦታት ጎንደሬ ቢሉኝ ሳመንኩኝ ደስ አለኝ የነገስታት ሀገር የፋሲል ከተማ መዲና ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠቅ ጌታ ሆበል የካሳ ያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ አንቺን ልበይ አንቺን የቋራ ጀግና ቴዲናና ሐሞተ ኩሩ ስመጥሩ እስኪ ልነሳና መቅደላ ልክሰሰው ኃይልክሰሰው ያኔ ሰው አንበሳ ወዴት አደረሰው ሞት አልነበረም ወይ የሚያስፈራው ለሰው ኃይለሰው ኧረ አንበሳው ቴዲ ነርሳሱን ጎረሰው አይጎረሰው ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠቅ ጌታ ሆበል የካሳ ያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ሆበል አንቺ ጎንደሬ ናገርሽ ጎንደሬ ብለው ቢጠሩኝ አቦ ደስ አለኝ ኮራሁኝ የቋራው አንበሳ የቴዲ ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ የእምነት የሃይማኖት የ44 ታቦታት ጎንደሬ ቢሉኝ ሳመንኩኝ ደስ አለኝ የነገስታት አገር የፋሲል ከተማ መዲና ሲሉኝ ኮራሁኝ ጀገንኩኝ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለእናቱ ሽለተላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚነገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለጠላቱ መይሰው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠቅ ጌታ ሆበል የካሳያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ ሆበል እድገት እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ ማነው የሞተው ሆበል ቴዲን እያለ አንቺን ልበይ ልባልቺ የቋራ ጀግና ቴዲናና ሐሞተ ኩሩ ስመጥሩ እስኪ ልነሳና መቅደላ ልክሰሰው ኃይልክሰሰው ያኔ ሰው አንበሳ ወዴት አደረሰው ሞት አልነበረም ወይ የሚያስፈራው ለሰው ኃይለሰው ኧረ አንበሳው ቴዲ ነርሳሱን ጎረሰው አይጎረሰው ታሪክ አለኝ የሚናገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለጠላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ታሪክ አለኝ የሚናገር ዓመት እስከ ዓመት የሚዘከር አንድ ለናቱ ሽለጠላቱ መይሳው ካሳ ሞቱ ኩራቱ ሆበል እያለ ሆበል እያለ የታጠቅ ጌታ ሆበል የካሳያለ መድረንግል የዘነ ሆበል ሲያምሰዋለ ኢትዮጵያነቱን ሆበል አስመሰከረ ጥበብ እያለ